after you have downloaded and installed and opened QGIS, you must add then the Word 2016 data as we discussed during our contact session. My Word 26 is still in my memory stick, on my memory stick. So to open that is you browse to that specific folder and double click on Word 2016 to open it. It is a random color. My Words at this stage a light brown color. But first thing that I want to do is to investigate the data. So I right click on the layer, open attribute table, and I see what data is in the layer. You can see here is the Ward ID that we talked about, the district, the year that the data was captured, the province, and so forth. But remember and note that here is no population data, and we need to add that. So again, to add the spatial data, the raw data, is to, in your browser, you browse to the folder where you copied the data and you double click on your Word 2016, and that will open it in the layers window. And to investigate that, I've opened the attribute table. The other one is to use this identify features, this blue button, click on it and click on a specific word, and the window will open. This one, you can see it is the David Kruiper word number 11, but the total word ID is 308-07011. The next thing is what we must do is to prepare the Excel spreadsheet from the Stats SA or the Census 2011 data. In Excel, you open the Eden population spreadsheet that I copied to the memory stick. So you browse to the folder where you copied it. It is still here under Eden population. So you open that. What I then normally do is to save it as a new file, save as, and I still on my memory stick, so I save it as, I'm using it in JS, so I save it so that I can still use the original file. When I investigate the spreadsheet, I see here's a few elements that will not work in the JS. For example, the word ID is consists out of the word ID plus the word number. So that will not link to my JS. If you look at the word ID here, it will not link to that because there's no word behind that. So the easiest way to do that, to rectify that, is to isolate the word ID. And remember, how we did that is to extract the eight left characters by using a function equals left brackets, click on the cell next to it. In my case, I'm using a comma point. You must use a comma or what your computer uses. So I say 8 characters, and there is the 8 characters of the word ID, and then I copy it down to the last number or record. You see there's the ID now, and when you use the original one, you'll see that is a merged file there. So I'm going to unmerge it by clicking this merge in center. Now there's 2 cells there. This one is the word ID. I replace the name word ID, and just to make sure that I still use this one, I call this word and then save it. to use this spreadsheet in QGIS, I need to export it as a text file. So in my case, I've said file, save as. I choose this text tab delimited, and I say save. Okay, you can press OK there. You see there's my text file. To use it in QGIS, I'm going to close the file so that QGIS can open it. Again, I open my tabs here. If it is not open, you go to View, Toolbars, and then you make sure that this Manage Layers toolbar tab is clicked or have that tick mark. So I click on that comma. I browse to the new text file. In my case, it is here, Eden population text. This is a little bit not correct there. So I say it is custom delimiters tab is fine. And here I must play around to see which one number I can use. In my case, it is the 8th row that I use as header. I can see that by Ward ID, Ward is in the gray area, so I know that is the header of the field. And the add button is still gray out, so I know that I must go to the geometry definition. There's no geometry. And then I add this table to my QGIS layer. You can see it is now there. So I close here. This is not spatial data, so you will not see it on the map. If you right click on it and you open the attribute table, you'll see here's the data, the ward ID that we need to link, and then all the other items, the number of people in that area, Black, African, and so forth, and the total of people there. So now I must join the attribute data with the spatial data. So I right click on my ward layer, open the properties, and then click on joins, and then I add new joins by clicking on the green plus. I'm going to use the Eden population join field. Remember, I'm going to use ward ID. I'm going to link it with ward ID, and then I can say OK. There's my join expression. So I say OK. If I now click on my David Kruiper municipality, I will see that there's the original data, and here's the population data. You can see it is from this Eden population JS ward. So that is the population there. So I know it is linked now, so I can continue with my project. The next thing that I want to do is to label my features so that I can see the number of total population of that area. So to make it easier to view, I'm going to zoom into I think Port Elizabeth area, and then I open the attribute or the properties of my layer again, my ward properties. Go to labels. I'm going to make it a single label, and I'm going to use this total as my field. Again, to make it easier for me to see, I click on buffer, mask, and then I say OK. And there you see the number of total number of people for that ward. So I'm going to zoom in here more. So let's say if I combine these wards here, I will have that 100 to 300,000 people in my super ward. So to do that, I use my select features by area. Click on that, the yellow box with the white cursor. I click on that. I select the wards that I think will total the correct amount. I select that as well to include that, to make it a whole area. The next step is to then export this into a new shapefile. So I right click on my Word, export. Remember, it must be save selected features as, because I only want to export the selected features. I'm selecting the S3 shapefile. I browse to the directory where I want to save it. I call this then Superward. So this will be my new shapefile. So I save it, and then I say OK, and you see there's a new area there, the Superward. So I can switch off the bigger one, and then I can pan a little bit to see my Superward. Remember, I told you in my mind map you can use this XYZ tiles. I click on my OpenStreetMap. I drag it to the behind the last layer, and there is my Superward. And at this stage, I'm going to save my work. I click on the save button there. I browse to my directory where I want to save the file, and I call my project file Superward, and then I save it. So now it is saved, so I can open it in the future as well. I want to change the symbology of my Superward so that it can be transparent, so I can see what is beneath our Superward. So I right click, properties, and like I've said, we're only going to use properties for this session. Under symbology, I click on that simple fill, and the fill color, I'm going to make that transparent. So there is my transparent Superwards, but the black lines are a little bit thin, so I'm going to change that again. My properties, I'm going to use the symbology, simple fill, and I'm going to increase that say to 0.7, make it a little bit thicker. So if I click on that, there's my Superwards, and now you can label that as you see fit, using the same properties again. Labels, use a single labels. For now I'm going to use this, I think, let's look at word number. What is that? Mask as well, buffer as well, and let's see. Now you see it is not that long. Word ID, only the word number, that is easier to read. I'm just going to zoom so that I can see it better. So there's my Superward, and you must send me, email me this or upload it to the OneDrive that I talked about. So to do that is you open the project menu, you import, export, you export it to image. Okay, that is fine. So I say save. I browse to my directory, and I call it, remember to include your name so that I know it is from you. And there it is. So this is the end of your assignment, and yeah, you must send me a image of your Superward.